Hello and welcome. Happy podcast day, Falcon.
Thank you, Sir Summicron. Hope things are well in podcast land for you today.
A little chilly. It'd be nice if it was just slightly warmer. If it was just like 2, maybe 3 degrees warmer, it'd be enough to just like nap on the couch.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's not quite there, though, huh?
No, not quite.
Unfortunate.
Yep.
It's a roasty, toasty day on my side of the planet. It's 91 degrees right now, so...
Oh, is that all? Chilly.
Yeah.
Should put on a hoodie.
It's not hoodie weather. You're a crazy person.
Yeah. I'm a joking person.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was cool last week, but this week's just been like blazing. So I'm hoping, it's August. What can I expect? It's summertime where I am.
Right. It's almost over though.
Yeah, I mean, fall's weird in Utah too. The September, October, November months, they can just be pretty roasty the whole time, like pretty warm all the way through. They can do the thing that it's supposed to do, or it cools down gradually and turns in, then it's fall, then it's winter, or it can just be freezing. It could just hit September, be super cold all the way through. So I don't know. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure thing. Like, which version of these 3 months are we going to get this time? You never know.
I don't think it's choose your own adventure. I don't think you're choosing the adventure you want, and everyone else is getting their own.
Have an adventure.
It's more
rust upon you.
It's more potluck weather.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Because it can just go either way or be kind of in between, right? Like it's a mixed bag. It's part of the luck of the draw. Like
it is. It's definitely luck of the draw. I mean, I would say, I don't know. Potluck, I guess, to me makes it kind of sound like you can get different types of weather every day.
Well, it's potluck, but there's trends. So if it's trending warmer or cooler, it'll keep trending that way. It's not going to suddenly be like a snowstorm one day and a heat wave the next. It's not quite that bad.
It's more of like a March, April, May kind of a thing. We'll get that around then. It'll be like beautiful 85-degree weather, and the next day it snows 4 inches. All right.
Well, we just received it's going to be like another La Nina summer, which means tons more rain and everyone like bitching that they're trapped inside playing video games. Oh no.
Or your city's on fire, your country's on fire. Like, take your pick. Do you want the rain or do you want fires? Those are your options, people.
Can we have
your
neither? Your
country's been on fire for the last 2 years in a row.
It's also been
really complaining about rain.
It's also flooded for 2 years in a row. Like, there's no relief either way. Like, either way, people are like getting out of their houses.
Fine. I mean, okay. If there's an option of fires and flooding,
well, it's fire. I don't know. It's fires or flooding. I don't think there's. I've never seen a flood fire or a fire flood.
Wouldn't the floods help with the fires?
You would think, but I don't know. I don't think it floods where it fires. The places that are fire hazards are usually not flood zones, unfortunately.
I guess that tracks.
Yeah,
makes sense. All right. Well, I hope you have fewer fires, and I hope I don't see stuff on Reddit constantly about how your entire country is just burning up this season. That'd be nice. But what happens, I suppose.
Yeah.
In general. Yeah. As I was telling Somicron, I'm a little bit late to this because I was watching some Amphibia with my daughter, which is a show on Disney Plus. It is a new Disney show. I think it came out 2019, so new is relative, but it's pretty good. It's about these 3 friends, and they're in high school, and they get it's an animated show where they get teleported to this land where there's anthropomorphic frogs and newts and stuff.
Okay.
So it's like medieval times, and they've got a king who's a newt, and they make friends with these frog people, and yeah.
Okay.
So it's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty interesting, pretty funny, pretty decent character work and stuff. My daughter loves it, and I like it. It's like of the things that she watches, this is the one thing I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. So we watch it together sometimes. There's some father-daughter experience.
Well, Yeah. Sometimes you just
Sorry.
need to watch something with the kids.
Yeah. So if you ever need to find something to watch with youngins, recommended. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'll be sure to keep that front and center on my mind. And
you have nieces and nephews. Don't act like you never are around children.
I'm not never around children, but I'm never around children long enough to be like, hey, let's watch a TV show. It's like, hey, I'm here to set up your computer. All right, it's done. Bye.
Oh, never like, Uncle Somicron's here to watch us for tonight.
No, God, no.
Never.
That happened once when there was only 2 of them, and it was the worst night of my life. One of them was a relatively newish born child, and I could not get it to stop screaming. So,
yeah, that's almost a worst case scenario right there. Just like nonstop screaming.
Yeah.
So. There, but like you definitely hope it doesn't happen when there's a babysitter. That's for sure.
Yeah. No.
Wow. Yeah, fair enough. So you basically told your sister never again. You're like, I'm out.
Pretty much. Well, I was
unicorns now.
Well, one of them is.
Oh,
she had like the newest one came out like 2 months ago, maybe. Like
okay, so still totally screamy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
The rest of them, I would sure. They're all like 2 or up, right? Like
yeah. I don't know. 2 can get pretty screamy depending on what's going on.
Yeah, but I feel like the elder ones have like enough experience with living with that they might be of assistance and be like, look, can you go take care of your little sister, please? I'm trying to cook here.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah.
As an older sibling, that's 100% true.
Mm-hmm.
I know how it works.
Yeah.
Okay, so fine. So maybe one day when the infant is like 2, and the oldest of the 3 is 2 years older than they are now.
Oh, no. There's not 3. There's 5.
Oh, I think there were only 3. Okay.
Because the first time I did it, there were only 2. And then I said there was another one recently, but I skipped.
Time frame is bigger than I thought.
Yes.
Okay, and so at this rate, they might keep having children, actually. So,
my sister says not gonna have any more.
Once you have 5, though, it's like, what's another one?
Yeah, another one's a lot.
It is. It is, but I mean, again, I'm the oldest of 9. My parents said once we had like 4 or 5, it was like, well, it's already chaos all the time. What's another one?
Right, but yeah, that's fair. I mean, how old was the youngest when you moved out? When you turned 18, the youngest was like...
was born 3 years after I moved out.
Okay, so like things they were just trying to maintain at that point. They were like, look, we're used to 8. We need to have 8 at all times.
Yeah. Like, we lost one. We got to replenish.
Right, who will work the field in summer?
Yes.
Honestly, I'm hoping to have no more. I can't afford Christmas presents as it is. God.
I believe it. I just start like budgeting.
Yeah.
You get a Snickers bar, and you get a water balloon. And
well, I built them their PC that I took down to them. And I go, look, this is all the Christmases and birthdays for the next year.
Solid. I like that. Yeah. That's a good plan.
And it was, I don't know, 4 days later, my sister was like, I have a problem with the computer. I'm like, oh, what? Or like, it won't find the printer. I'm like, oh, you have to download printer drivers. That should be
printer it. Drivers? What year is it?
She has an ancient printer. Like, it looked like it was about to fall apart. And I'm like,
So like next year, you're giving her a better printer.
Maybe.
Christmas present for the whole year.
Maybe. Either that, or I will give her the gift of 2023, and we'll be like, you don't need printers. Like, you just don't need this. Like, tell the kids to print it at the library at their school. They don't need to come home and do it. Like,
yeah, maybe.
You can remove this from your office. You don't need it. Or maybe I'll get them a 3D printer and be like, you asked for a printer. And like,
But some of the older kids might be into that. That'd be cool.
Oh, they definitely would be. But I couldn't imagine like printing out their reports on Braille or whatever, like their assignments. I need to write an essay. Put it like, let's print it out in Braille.
I mean, yeah, fair point. Probably not. Could maybe do it.
Maybe. I would have to be a very lenient teacher to accept it in Braille. I mean, there's nothing in the rules that says you can't, so I don't know why you shouldn't, but...
That's true. That's the story of, like, one day when you're reading a syllabus and it's like, you can't print your papers out in Braille. Like, what the heck happened?
You know that somebody did that. That's why they put that in there.
Yeah, one of your nephews is going to be the one to create that entry in the syllabus for the year.
I'm so upset I didn't have a 3D printer when I was a child now.
I know, right?
I would have done all my PE homework, like all those assignments as in Braille because I hated PE.
I'm sure that would have been very well received.
I mean, probably. I was a good student. They would have had a laugh, and then I would have had a paper backup anyway.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah,
good call. Just a little prank, just a harmless little prank.
Just a little prank.
That's all it is. So speaking of computer stuff, I told you this when we were streaming here on Twitch on Friday / Saturday. But yeah, my mom was like, I need help installing Adobe Premiere or Photoshop Elements or something on my computer. It doesn't work. And I'm like, well, that's weird, but okay. So I go there and it's like, yeah, you run the installer and it pops up its own window and goes, huh. It's a white screen and there's no progress bar. At first there was no error. It was like, yeah, okay, good call. This is not working at all. So yeah, so long story short, I tried a million different things. It was pretty quick because it would be like, change the thing, try to install, fail. Change another thing, try to install, fail. It didn't take forever.
Right.
But I was so desperate. Someone's like, well, I had to set Internet Explorer to be my default browser and enable scripting in the internet options. And I was like, internet options? What year is it? I haven't done anything in internet options for 10 years. But I was like, you know what? Super desperate. So I did. So I had Internet Explorer in this Windows 10 install. And I enabled scripting. And I set it to my default browser, and the Adobe install was like, thanks, you're the best. And I was like, what? How? Is this a thing?
I don't know.
I am still stunned by that course of events. Again, it's 2022. It's Adobe Photoshop 2022, which I think came out last year because they number it like the way that FIFA does.
Right.
It's like it's a sports franchise in Adobe.
Where the pairs aren't played and all the code is imported from last year.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe they know what they're doing. Maybe it makes perfect sense. Anyway, yeah, BNIT. Good times. I saw another study. I think we've talked about this on the pod too, but someone on Reddit posted this the other day. They're like, there is a certain generation that we're in where you grew up with computers that weren't easy. You grew up with computers that broke and needed you to install drivers and free up memory and figure out how to get friggin' Wing Commander to run, right?
Right.
So, yeah. So, in general, our parents and their parents are like, we can do computers, but they're not good at fixing them necessarily. That was our job. Now, the generation after us grew up on iPads and iPhones and tablets and stuff that you don't have to do anything with it.
Everything
works.
Everything's all streamlined. It's all apps and fill out a form. You don't need to make your own website anymore or anything like that. Everyone's on a single platform. Even like, not only is technology use different, but just like internet use. So the hardware and the software experience is very different from what it was. I can see that.
That's another thing. If you wanted internet, you had to go buy a modem. It was a piece of hardware you put into your PC, connect a phone line to it, tell Windows what it was and what you wanted it to do.
Right.
Have it call a specific phone number. Yeah, it's a total mess. Install another third-party piece of software, configure it to see your modem, which wasn't a guarantee. Sometimes the software was like, I don't see a modem. And you're like, it's here, you piece of garbage. I'm having flashbacks of like doing this when I was 14 and 15 years old.
Yeah.
So Yeah, saw another same thing. Saw another thread. Teachers, a thread of 2 teachers. Like, what changes have you seen in your students over the last 10 years or so? And the teachers, a bunch of them said students are getting worse at computer literacy. Like, I have to teach them how to like make a folder and putting your homework in this folder. It's like a process now. And they're like, for a long time there, you didn't have to do that because kids knew how all that stuff worked, and they just don't anymore. And it's like, yeah, it's weird, man. It's weird that all the stuff that we just kind of figured out and took for granted is just being lost.
Right. Well, that's what the education system is supposedly for. They should be teaching that stuff. Make sure everyone knows it, because not everyone's going to have the same experience.
That's very
full time. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, again, these are generalizations. There's obviously kids that come in that know all this stuff. They're the one. They're the IT support for their family, and they have a PC and they have problems with it and stuff. But just in general, for the most part, there's less of that happening. Anyway, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love talking to my brother about his students, because some of his students are absolutely stupid.
Good stories.
Oh, I get fantastic stories. Like last summer when it was pissing down with rain, some of the students were like, well, 2 students in particular were like, we're just going to lie to our parents and say that we're on like a school camp. Right? And they were texting their parents being like, no, we are on a camp. They sent them a photo of a tree. Like, just...
like, obviously, we're camping. There's a tree here.
Right, but it's pouring down with rain, and they sent a stock photo of a tree. Like,
yep. Kids are dumb.
Yeah, kids are stupid.
Some kids are dumb. Some kids are smart. Some kids are dumb.
Yeah.
God, that's funny. That's so stupid. All right, anyway. What else is going on in the world? So my sister, the one that I get along with the best, she's like 12 years younger than I am. There's a pretty big gap there, but like we just get along.
Right.
But she recommended that I watch Paper Girls on Amazon.
Okay.
Which is based on I think it's a web comic. So the original source material is either a comic or a web comic or something.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a web comic. Apparently it's on imagecomics.com. But bottom line, it's these 4 girls who do Paper Girl stuff in 88, and they end up getting time traveled to 2019.
Okay.
And then adventures occur. That's pretty good. Okay, you know how much I hate time travel? And I was like, okay, when are they going to screw this up? When are they going to screw this up? And then they did, and I was like, I was like, oh no. Anyway,
How unexpected.
Yeah, I know. I had hope. Because they went forward in time. I was like, they're not going to run into the going backwards in time paradox, right? Because if all you do is go forward, you can't screw anything up. It's great. But nope, then they went backwards, and I was like,
yeah, don't you just hate it when authors who write something about going forwards in time end it by like going backwards in time and then not giving you a sequel or like a proper closing? Man, that's... I just hate it when that happens.
That sounds terrible. Nobody would ever do that. Where did you come up with this idea?
Yeah, anyway. So you like the show?
It's okay. It's pretty good. Honestly, to be fair, it's not a... You know how some shows are time travel shows? Some shows are romantic comedies with time travel.
Time travel. Right, yeah.
Yeah. This is more about... introspection and coming to terms with who you are, and like each of the 4 girls meet themselves in the future.
Right.
And the first time it happens, I'm like, oh no, everything's gonna blow up. But the show's like, no, it's fine. I was like, what? That's not what Back to the Future taught me at all.
Yeah, I really love the take on time travel where it's like, it doesn't matter. You can go wherever you want. Like, there's no such thing as paradoxes. You're just a lump of atoms meeting another lump of atoms. You do it literally all the time, every day.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's basically what happened. They're just like, oh, Did the future thems have memories of their past thems, or was it like separate timelines thems?
No.
Okay.
That's okay. It is 100% multiverse theory.
Okay.
Because their older selves do not remember any of this. They don't remember time traveling at all.
Okay.
So anyway, and it's great because the whole point of this, one of the themes of the show is like who you thought you were going to be when you're 12. As a 12-year-old, who you thought you were going to be when you're 30, right?
Right.
Is significantly different. And every one of the girls, when they meet their adult self, they're just like, what happened to you?
I think I saw a Zac Efron movie about this.
Well, there you go.
Suddenly 30 or something.
Right.
Yeah.
But just, the general concept that, I think for the vast majority of humans, what they expected of themselves when they were 12 years old and what actually happened is a disappointment to varying degrees, right? Like some people really screw it up and other people just kind of screw it up. But like a lot of kids want to be astronauts and senators, right? And
right.
Like doctors. And like we can't all be astronauts and senators and doctors.
Well, you could be a senator who's also an astronaut. You just got to go really far into the future.
That might help. But that's what it is. It's mostly these girls and their relationship with each other and their relationships with their older selves and coming to terms with the fact that like one of the girls dies of brain cancer when she's 16.
Oh, so she's just not there.
And she's like trying to find it and she can't. She's like, I'm not in the phone book. And like, that's weird.
Hold on. They get to the future, which is 2019, and they still have phone books lying around. Where did they find a phone book?
Sorry, they spent some time in 1998 later, and there are phone books.
Okay,
but you're right. In 2019, they look it up on the internet. You are correct.
Okay,
they are googling themselves. They nailed that, obviously.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but she finds her brother, and he's like, "Holy shit! Like, you died of brain cancer, and it was the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to me. Here, this isn't real, right?"
Right. So, I mean, surely when she eventually goes back to her own time, she's just going to die of brain cancer again. Like, we know this is coming now.
Right. And that's the thing. Does she already have brain cancer? Like, I don't know. And that... Okay, so I was thinking, okay, maybe these are closed loops, right?
Okay.
Like maybe when they go back, everything happens like it's going to happen and they can't do anything about it, you know? But then they meet a dude in 2019 who's a like secret time traveling agent who's trying to take down the oppressive authoritarian time traveling government, right? He's part of the rebel group.
Okay.
You know how this works. Pretty standard stuff.
Right.
And he travels back to 1998 with them, and then he dies.
Okay.
So, obviously, it's not closed loop. Because if he's in 2019, but then he dies in 1998, his version of 1998 self dies. And the version from 2019 who went back died.
What? No. What? Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
The order of events for him is what time is he from?
Well,
because if he's from the future and he's just coming backwards, like so he's hopping.
Alive in 98.
He's alive in 98, but he goes forward. He meets the girls and then goes back and dies.
Lives normally 1998 all the way to 2019.
Are we sure? Are we sure? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Because he's never time traveled before. He gets recruited by these people that tell him they're time travelers, and he doesn't quite believe them, right? But like he kind of hangs this anyway for 10 years, just in the off chance that they are.
Right, the check's clear, so it's fine.
Yeah, and then in 2019, this time portal opens, and he's like, "Holy crap, it's real! All right, cool, right?" So then he 2019 travels back to 1998.
Right.
His 2019 self gets murked, and I'm like, "Okay, cool." So that's his timeline. He lives to 2019 and comes back to 98. He dies. He doesn't progress past 2019. But then they find the 1998 version of this guy, and he gets killed. And I was like, nope, we lost it. We lost the thread.
Well, I mean, it's just a loop, and that carries on slightly different, right? Like, So
how is he in 2019 for them to talk to?
Well, okay, look, it's like this, right? But imagine it as a loop where he goes forward and like his personal line changes thing. It's fine. It's just like you take the timeline and you splice it onto another track. That's all that's happening here.
Multiverse or multi-timeline, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
there is no closed timeline in this world at all.
No, doesn't seem like it.
Okay, so that's my thing. So brain cancer girl goes back in time. Maybe she doesn't get brain cancer this time because it's a different thing.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's certainly possible. But she could also still get brain cancer.
Right.
Right.
Or could. Totally. Yeah. Or could not. Because it's a different multiverse that she's in now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Especially if she already has brain cancer and it's just hanging out. Then
especially if the only difference is this one person she would have never have met otherwise died. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, imagine a different parallel universe, but someone in London died yesterday compared to today when they didn't die. Wouldn't really affect you or me because we didn't know who this person was, right?
Right.
We're still going to do our usual shit. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, and I was thinking, like, okay, cancer fighting technology and understanding has improved immensely from 88 to 98 to 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted someone to say, hey, let's go back to 2019, get you some medical help, and maybe you won't die of this brain cancer. Who knows? Brain cancer still really sucks in 2019, but you have a much better chance of living than if it's 1988.
Right. That's true. That's true.
It's not a guarantee, but it's
not a guarantee.
Someone to like suggest it. That's all.
Right. Well, I mean, the problem is this person doesn't have any identification. Like, how do you put them into, like, you go to the hospital and they're like, who is this person? Like, we have death certificates for this person. Where have you been hiding? The IRS would like to know your location.
Right, but she died when she was 16. Like, who cares? Okay, yes, that would be a major problem, but additionally, they would say, holy crap, this 12-year-old has brain cancer. Let's try to fix that, and we'll worry about the other stuff later.
Right, like, but I mean, it's a 12-year-old. They have to inform the parents, or that person gets put into, like, protective services and stuff. So there's a lot of additional baggage that has to be dealt with, which I don't think necessarily makes for an enjoyable show if that's not what it's about. Like,
true.
So there were just reasons you would avoid it. Otherwise, you're just like, well, this doesn't feel realistic. If we walked into the hospital and they're like, sure, take this pill. It cures brain cancer. See ya. Right? It's like, well, that was wrapped up surprisingly easy.
They totally could have done that. They could have gone to like 2100 and been like, I got brain cancer curing pills now. And we just move on. That would have been fantastic. I would have been okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a funniest. That would be a funny aside, and I wish they had done that now. But yeah, it's not really what the show sounds like.
The reason they don't go to 2019 and try to get help is because she's a ghost, and it would completely bog everything down in bureaucracy.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought it was a 1-season thing, so I watched it. And then season 1 totally ends on this cliffhanger. And I'm like, wait, what? And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, okay. This story keeps going. Maybe. Amazon hasn't technically renewed it. So
it's in limbo. It's in limbo on a cliffhanger.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go read the web series, apparently.
Yeah. Like you did with Tower of God.
Which I've been reading this last week, actually.
Oh, getting caught up?
Yes. I got bogged down. Because, like... There's a lot of characters in Tower of God.
Yeah.
There's like in season 1, there's a lot of characters, right?
Mm-hmm. Most of them really good.
Yes. But then just keep adding more. So there's this whole plot line on this train, and I'm like, okay, we're adding 3 new characters, 2 more new characters. Oh, okay, I can do this. And they get to the end of the train section, and they're at this train station, and then like 47 new people show up, and I'm like, okay, I can't do this anymore. This is too much.
That's rough.
So I stopped. a long time, like months ago.
Yeah.
And then for some reason this week, oh no, because Tower of God was coming back, and I was like,
Yeah.
fine, I'll finish it. That's what it was. You posted that in the Discord.
I did indeed.
And then you told me it was coming in 2025, and it was not a fun prank or joke at all. I did not appreciate it. I was very sad.
It's coming soon because there's no official date. It's just like everything I found that just says like Crunchyroll says it's coming soon. I'm like, when is soon? Give me like a year frame at the very least.
I thought there was
It might be this year, I believe. So
yeah, which there's not many months left in this year.
That's true, but that doesn't like if it wants to finish this year, it might want to start soon. I would like it to finish.
Good point.
Like I don't know why the end matters. Like when is it going to end? But I would just like to know.
I don't know. Anime Geek says Tower of God Season 2 is coming soon, but they announced that the streaming date is to be announced. To put that announcement in perspective, other anime TV projects were announced at the same time with a general time frame of 2023.
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever. At least they're doing it. I'm fine with it.
Yep. We're getting more because it's really good. That's what matters.
Really good. It's really good, and the chapters are long, man. Out on Webtoons, like it's a ton of art for every chapter, and he's been doing this weekly.
Wow.
So what happened? I mean, what ended up happening, which was pretty easy to see coming if you knew what was going on. He took a year break.
Oh, did he?
Yep. In 2020, like April, he was like, I'm taking a break, everyone. And they're like, you deserve it, man. You've been working your butt off. He didn't come back until 2021, like May.
Wow.
Yeah. He was gone forever. And he made up for it with like a episode that was 3 times as long as the normal one. And I was like, dude.
He had thoughts. He had thoughts while he was away. They all just like piled up and had a massive long chapter.
Totally did. So it's good. Again, every character is fantastic. The villains are really good. One of the things he likes, I don't know if I like it, but he has this habit, especially kind of recently in the run that I've been reading.
No.
He introduces a villain.
No.
And they're fighting one of our heroes, and you're like, oh no. And then he's like, here's who this villain is. I'm like, wait, what? And it does this like total flashback thing of their whole story and why they became a villain and what they all went through. And then it goes back to the fight and the villain dies. It's like, so.
That's great. It's like, hey, feel for this person, care for them, watch them bleed.
Yeah. From a villain perspective. Yeah. I don't know. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
But, I mean, I like that he does it. I like having a deeper understanding of bad guys. It's always nice. But I wish he would do these little backstories earlier. Like, give us some time with this villain. Maybe have another fight earlier, but then the villain survives. And he comes back, and you're like, oh, this guy, I know his whole story. This time he dies. You're like, okay, great. But it's just, it's so abrupt. It's amazing.
Yeah. Maybe that's something they can fix in the anime.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. And it wouldn't hurt anything either. Right? You just you introduce the villains maybe from afar or like in a place where the good guys aren't. So there's no conflict yet. Right?
Right.
Then give us the backstory. And then they show up a couple episodes later and you're like, this guy, I know his whole deal. And then the fight makes, I don't know, it just has more pathos that way, you know? Yeah.
That would be good.
That would be good. The other thing he loves, I mean, you know this, just from season 1, he loves games.
Oh, yeah.
He loves gamifying combat so much. Like, sometimes it's just a free-for-all, everyone's trying to murder each other kind of a thing.
I like that this guy took
than not.
This guy took a year off, and then we had Squid Game. Like, I think I know where he went for his holiday. Like,
you're saying he was competing in Squid Game?
No, he wrote it.
Oh, he's a writer for Squid Game. It would make a ton of sense because he is Korean.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. He just loves game. It's a trope at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this totally evil villain. The good guys are coming for him, and then he's like, "Hey,
Would
let's
you like to
play
play
a
a
game."
game?
And I'm like, "Yep, that makes a lot of sense."
There are a lot of shows that do that.
Yeah,
Very
I
few do
get
them
it.
well, I think.
Right. It fair, very fair. I think this guy does it well. I do.
Okay.
Like one of the twists in this particular game that I'm reading through right now, they have to defeat basically these enemies that keep popping up along the path, right?
Mm.
So normal stuff. But then the twist is that these enemies are a distinct group of people that the bad guy has kept imprisoned for years.
Mm.
And he promised them if they kill the hero, they get their freedom.
Okay.
So they're not bad guys. They're not henchmen.
Mm.
They're just regular people who want their freedom. And the good guy has to kill them. And it's like, okay, that changes things a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some little bit of moral ambiguity there.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So anyway. It's good.
It's good.
Tower of God's good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how many TV seasons this would be.
Well, how many chapters was season 1?
Great question. I'd have to look that up.
Surely you noted that while you were reading it the first time.
No.
No.
Not at all. You get back to the thing.
Can I?
No, I'm talking to me. Sorry. Can the user get back to the? Because like, if I go to the main page, does it separate it out into chapters?
Don't know.
No. It's
Tower of God season 1 contains 80 chapters.
Oh, okay. So 80 chapters, and season 3 is 132 chapters already, and it's not done yet.
Season 2.
Let's see what season 2 looks like. Yeah, season 2 goes up to 200. And where does it stop? 279, 289, 299, 309, and 337. So season 2 is 337 chapters.
Potentially, yeah, it's a lot.
There's no way. They're going to have to split it or cut out entire storylines.
Yeah, or do a third season of the anime.
Yeah, for sure. Just save it for a season 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because that's where this story's going.
Right.
Yeah. It's just good. It's good character progression. What they're doing with Bam, I think, is really nice in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about it because I'll just remember Rachel and I hate her. So.
Yeah. I mean, they don't give you any other reason to like Rachel at all. So don't worry about that.
Good.
Sucks.
Yeah. She hardcore sucks.
Yeah. Like, of all the things that I remember from season 1, it's that thing where they're in the bubble and Rachel's pretending that she's a paraplegic.
Right.
Not.
And then she pushes him off and he falls and falls and falls and everyone assumes he's dead. Yeah.
Yeah. Rachel, everybody.
And I mean, the build up to that is just that Bam wants to like show her the stars. That's all this kid wants, is to show her his only friend, the person he's only known and cared for in his entire life, the stars. He could not be a more pure-hearted person, and she's just like, push.
It's like, I'll betray you for the second time. Thank you very much. She's the worst.
So your kid is DMing me IP addresses, and he's like, "Is this you?" I don't know why.
Just ignore it.
I'm going to.
Okay.
Oh, so weird. Kids. Well, at least he knows where to find an IP address, I guess.
Yeah.
Think of it like that.
Yeah, that's a benefit, I guess. He's pretty good with computers. He's not bad for being a Gen Zer.
Fair enough.
Taught some things, I guess. Anywho.
Well.
Tower of God.
I've been playing a crap ton of Cult of the Lamb.
Oh, I've heard some things about this, but I don't know what it is. What is it?
So it's like have you seen or played Binding of Isaac?
Oh, my kids love Binding of Isaac.
It's
my
like
little kid has like 1,000 hours in it.
It's like that.
Okay.
Plus like a Harvest Moon or a
Stardew Valley?
Stardew Valley, yeah, where you have to like manage your own cult and your own little compound with followers, and like you start a farm and you have to feed them and clean up their poop, and they're all animal people. So it's like here's a cat, here's a dog, here's a fox, here's a Cthulhu-esque monster. Yeah. And you set like cult doctrines and stuff, so like you can sacrifice them to gain powers.
Okay, that's dark.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently you're quiet, says Duddles. I can boost you.
I can see the appeal.
It's very fun. And there's a fair amount of choice in setting the cult doctrines, but you can't change them onto the set, and sometimes you find out that things don't work quite the way you want them to. Like I was like, oh, I can either institute fights to the death or marriage.
Bit of a binary.
Right. And so I was like, well, I don't want to have people fight to the death. I'll institute marriage. And then it's like, oh, it's not marriage between my followers. It's I'm starting a harem. All of them can marry me. Like, I'm the cult leader. Why not?
Oh, boy. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's just like a bunch of choices they don't quite know what they mean?
No, that one specifically, I was just like, it wasn't specific about who's marrying who in that one. But a lot of them are like, oh, sacrifice a person and gain X devotion points or something, right? Or faith. So you have like some bars you're trying to manage. Like, if you don't have a high faith, your people might start dissenting and start like preaching that the cult is a lie and people will leave.
Yeah.
So you have to, like, you can put them in prison and then re-educate them once per day to slowly break them of that.
Okay, I like that idea.
Like, there's a lot of choices that are like marriage or fight to the death. There's a lot like that where it's, the obviously kind of good one and then the obviously kind of evil one.
And then it turns out to be the opposite.
No. Well, no. I mean, fights to the death is still pretty bad.
That is bad. So
yeah.
No good choices.
No, a lot of them are still good choices. Like, you can hold funerals for people who die, and like people will gain a bonus from that. That's the one I took, and I don't remember what the option was, but I think it was like you can cut people up and feed them to your to your other followers when they die, like a way to reclaim their meat.
I mean, yes.
Practical. I ended up reclaiming dead bodies to be fertilizer. So, But it turns out people don't like it if you take the stuff off their corpse first. I'm like, oh, hey, let me just take that gift I gave you so I can give it to someone else. And they were like, hey, stop looting corpses.
But
shut up, wives.
Dead. I'm in charge. Shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is very fun, but the day, like, everything's on a timer. So you have like a day-night cycle. And when you're in the Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley side of it, the timer is very slow because you're waiting for several things at once. Like, you're like, oh, I'm going to sit here and do a bunch of farming, and then I'm going to do a ritual, but those have cooldowns, and then you want to do a sermon, and those have cooldowns you're going to do once per day. So there's a lot of like little busy work, and the days feel very long. But then you go into like the Binding of Isaac side, where you fight in dungeons to try and kill 4 bishops of the god who saved you, who's been chained up. They've like chained up this other god.
Right.
And the day nights are so fast, so people start starving. Beds start breaking if you don't have the highest tier bed. Like, if you just have like little sleeping bags. Apparently, animals don't like to just sleep on the floor in the forest. I don't know what happened there.
They're what? When did they get so picky? They're animals.
They're so picky. They don't like. You have to go around and cleaning up their poop, and it's like you guys are animals, literally
I did
animals.
See a meme about that.
I had two guys. One of which was like, "Hey, cult leader, please feed me a bowl of poop. Like, I want a meal made of poop." And so I did it. I fed him a bowl of poop, and he was like, "Gross, but thank you. Thanks for indulging me." And then he threw up. I'm like, okay, that's weird. I had another guy who was like, "Hey, that first guy, let's play a prank on him. You want to play a prank on him with me, cult leader?" I'm like, "Sure." He's like, "Let's make him eat a bowl of poop." I'm like, "But he likes that." Like, they just made me make him eat another bowl of poop.
So they can speak. They're intelligent, kind of.
They're people.
They poop everywhere.
I built an outhouse. Some of them use it, some of them don't. So I built a second one. Now all of them use it.
Oh,
yeah. I think
give them somewhere to poop. They poop there.
Yes, but it's something you have to unlock, right? Like, so there's a lot of little busy work, and it's not unfun, but there's a lot of it. The guy was like, "Hey, let's prank him again," and I'm like, "Okay, let's do another prank. Make him eat another bowl of poop."
How's that a good prank? We already did the thing.
I don't know. Apparently, doing it twice was just as nice. So the guy wanted a third prank, and this time it was to put him in prison. So I imprisoned this perfectly innocent guy, and the other dude loved it. He was like, "Huh, what a funny prank."
Just a prank, bro.
Yeah, it's just a prank, bro. I immediately let him out after I finished the prank, because obviously this is a prank, bro. He did want to kick the prank up one more notch and do one more prank. Yeah, he was like, "You know what would be so funny? If we just killed him. Like, let's just murder this guy."
Just a prank, bro.
It's just a prank, bro. So I sacrificed him to my dark gods. Like, tentacles came out of the floor and ripped him apart.
Okay, neat.
Yeah. Yep. And now I have his body parts, and I can put them in stews. And there's another villager who likes to eat people, so when I get his quest, they make him a person stew.
This is a dark game.
It is a dark game. It's good. I really recommend it. I'm not good at the combat. I've pretty much finished maxing out everything I can but the combat, mainly because you feel compelled to sit there and take care of all these little animals.
If you spend too much combating, then everyone's gonna die, apparently.
Die or leave you, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's good.
You can't delegate. You can't be like, "Here's my number 2.
You can for some things. Like, eventually, you can put down a farm and, like, seed and fertilizer boxes. And, like, you can assign someone to be a farmer, and they'll come out and take a seed and put it in the ground and water it and put fertilizer on it and water it again. But they won't harvest it. You need the farming bundle 2 for that. So you need to upgrade your farms before they'll harvest the thing. And when they do, they put the seeds that they get from farming in a different box than the seed box. So you still need to take all the seeds out of that box and put them back into the first box so they'll replant the bastards.
Are we sure they're smart? Not smart, I think.
Aki says apparently you can give people your number 2 when you're listening.
Dang it, Aki.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I'm having a lot of fun, so that's what I've been playing.
Well, all right. Yeah, sounds adventurous.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there was a clip that I found on Twitter that you should watch at some point. It's this woman like streaming the game, and she unlocks a new recipe. So she goes ahead and makes 5 of them to feed her little cult followers, but she makes like poison stew that has like a 75% chance of just killing anyone who eats it. And so she feeds half of her cult this stew, and then they all die. She just murders her entire little compound of people. It's rough.
Yeah. Are there auto saves? Can you recover from this?
She probably could, yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That'd be funny if it's like, you did the wrong thing. Everyone's dead. Game over.
Yeah.
Roguelike.
Well, you start off with no cult followers, so in theory, even if they all died, you could just go out and get more. Like, there's a slaver who's a spider person who has a person bundled up in spider thread called Helob. And you can basically always buy, whenever you run into this person, you can always buy one from them, and sometimes they're on sale for like 99 or 100% off. He just gives you free followers.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's nice. Yeah, all right, fair enough. So who needs save states if you can just get new followers whenever you want?
Yeah. I mean...
Fair.
Yeah.
You're like, check me out. I have 2 outhouses. And they're like, ooh.
I do have 2 outhouses.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I know you have 2. It's a selling point. But I assume you don't have to sell them on it. You just buy them. And they're like, okay, I'm a follower now.
Yeah. I have a ritual that demands everyone hand over all the money that they have on them. So I'm constantly flush with money as well. So,
good.
Yeah, I'm just extorting all of my cult followers.
That's what they're there for. They're cult followers. That's what they do.
I'm a real Twitch streamer, so just extorting all my followers for money.
That's what this is. This is a big metaphor for Twitch.
It does have Twitch integrations as well, where you can set up like a Twitch chat points or whatever, like the channel points, and once you receive like 10 donations of chat points, you can get like spin a wheel and get like a bonus reward. And all of the people that you find, you can rename them and customize them to be like a certain animal or color or whatever you want to do. Like, you can raffle in viewers, so a viewer will get to create their avatar, and then you have that viewer in your game.
Holy smokes!
Well, they don't play; they still are just like on a script, like all the other NPCs.
Yeah.
But
I know.
Yeah,
I've never even heard of that in any kind of a game. Is that a first?
I mean, no.
Like, the whole concept of a streamer being like, "Thanks for the donation. I'll create a character that looks like you manually."
No. So in browser, the viewer gets to create it. Like,
so that's what I'm saying. That is a new idea. Yeah,
the Twitch, because I did it in Maynard's. Maynard let me in. Well, I won the raffle. Actually, is the way I should say it.
Nice.
I know I've seen something similar with Twitch integrations from other games, but I couldn't tell you what.
Okay. Aki says not a first by a long time, but I've never heard of it being that integrated into the game before.
Right. I've seen stuff where it's like, oh, we'll pull viewers' names from chat and like they'll appear in game, but I haven't seen.
Or I'll name the characters in Final Fantasy after the viewers. Yeah.
Right, but that's not that's just the streamer doing something.
Exactly.
This is like a Twitch plugin. Like the game connects to Twitch.
Yeah. That's
so
what's blowing my mind.
I mean, I've definitely seen that ages ago. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's usually not on such a complex level, I think.
Yeah. So it's just the latest progression.
Frickin' Maynard threatened to eat me.
Wow.
Yeah, he was like, dude, you're going to get eaten if you keep talking like that.
You should unsub, I think.
I'm not going to unsub. He hasn't eaten me yet.
So threats are okay. Just following through is where you draw the line.
Yeah, I mean, you always threaten people. There's nothing wrong with that. He also has the ritual to resurrect people, so maybe he'll resurrect me if he does, which I'm fine with.
Oh, that'd be an extra special thing for you to experience. Well, good. I'll have to check it out. That sounds cool.
Yep.
Let me get this Twitch link too. Oh, it's a Twitter link with the Twitch Club. That works. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. All right. I gotta run. It's first day of school for the kids tomorrow, so I need to get them in bed earlier than I have been.
Okay. You do that.
All right. So cool. That's going to be it from us today. Oh, Keith says the Zelda randomizer has done it. Nice. Oh, and a whole list. Yeah, so that's going to be it from us today. This has been Falcon Paladin Somicron with another edition of the Falcon Paladin Hour. Thanks for hanging out with us. You can go ahead and support the podcast directly at patreon.com/Somicron. You can support the podcast directly at falconpaladin.store as well. And we're, here on Twitch at twitch.tv/Somicron. We're on YouTube. That's where the VODs go as well. You want to check us out there if it's easier for you. And we're on, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you get your podcasts. And that's going to be it from us. Until next time, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And above all, you take care of yourself.